In the last few months of my 7th grade year, I met a girl who shared one common interest with me: anime. She was considerably one of the first anime friends at the time, since I was just getting into the concept of it. She seemed really nice at first, and at the time I was planning to create my own cartoon series, and she was really fond of my characters and the books I made revolving around them. Later on, I thought maybe we were good friends, since a lot of my other friends seemed to be friends with her, so I started to sit with them at their small table. The only problem was that my new friend showed her true colors that were very cliquish. She started telling me to leave, as their group was called the Main Six. I added to them, I guess, but either way I found it odd, but took it lightly. The other people in the group didn't, however, and noticed the treatment this girl was giving me, so at times they would purposely leave their friend to hang out with me, which I was pretty happy about, even though I took the situation lightly. In the end of year 7, I leave to the Antelope Valley, and I soon become developing in my art skills. I ironically still have contact with this girl who treated me poorly through Instagram. I get quite good with my art style. I can't exactly pin how to describe it, but to give the listeners an idea, here's a photo. The girl contacts me through DMs asking if I have or can draw her OCs in my style, and I agree. I still haven't forgotten how she treated me back in middle school, and plus I have other things to worry about, and I was in another district, so I hold the request off for some time. I love posting my work, and I began posting my work regularly on my personal Instagram to give my new friends an idea on this major project I was working on. The same girl then keeps nagging me on and on to draw her OCs, and to get her to shut it, I sent her the photo of the drawing. She thanks me with probably the most fake thank you ever, and doesn't even have the audacity to post it anywhere. It may sound petty, but at the time, she was posting non-stop about other artists drawing her OCs. I found the whole situation slightly hypocritical in a way. I later trashed the drawing to never be reminded about how I felt after that. From this experience, I learned to watch the people I befriend very closely, and this year I plan to publish my first series, Stings of Comics. The characters are ones the girl I was talking about are probably familiar with, since they are extremely major characters in both the series I'm creating and in real life. I always fantasized about becoming a household name and being a famous cartoonist, but if this girl comes and tries to hop into my world at any cost, I won't be sure of what to think. As in, yeah, we know each other, but I wouldn't really call us friends. I mean, you did treat me poorly when I was physically with you. In general, although a light situation, I just hope I never encounter someone like this again, especially if my dreams come true. And now, geeks and nerds, it's time for the top 3 comments on the last video. Now, last video I asked you what guilty pleasure anime is your own, and these are the top 3 comments that I picked out that I personally liked. This one comes from Pineapple Shiba saying, "Mine would be Lucky Star. I remember loving it so much in middle school, and watching it again gives me such nostalgia. I just love cute anime like Lucky Star." Oh god, I remember that anime. I remember back when I was a little weeaboo myself, constantly practicing the dance for exercise. It was pretty cringy, especially when all you would hear was thumping in the floor because I dance as well as any other white person does. Which is not really. Next comment comes from Dr. Frumpy and the Dumpy Bunch. As for a guilty pleasure anime, I would definitely say Sonic X. Sure, most of the time the characters are off-model a third of the time, and it may have one of the worst characters in all of fiction, but considering I'm such a huge Sonic nerd, I can't help but love it. Also, one of the only animes I've ever watched subbed, I think it goes without saying that 4Kids was 4Kids, and cut a lot of the more interesting things out, such as Sonic's voice actor is actually an English teacher in Japan, and has a character quirk he sometimes speaks in little quips of English. Seriously, sometimes he walks around saying, "Hi you guys," like Borat or something. It's pretty great. And also, Knuckle walks into a strip club in the Japanese version that I kinda had to see it to believe it. I think I need to see it too, because I don't really believe that either. Oh my god. But then again, when it comes to 4Kids censoring things, I can sort of see why, at least for their whole, good Christian network, or whatever it was. And finally, for the last comment comes from Matajadan. I hope I pronounced that right. Gosh golly! Gosh golly, the Weebs in the third story needed to calm down. That's serious overkill. And for the question, if we're talking about an anime that's my guilty pleasure, I'd say Hetalia. I know the fandom was wild for a few years ago, but it seems like they've calmed down since then. Yeah, I know what you mean, cause, as much as this maybe seem as a betrayal, I used to like Hetalia too. I know, put down the shotguns, I know. Someone who reads this kind of stuff actually liked Hetalia. Oh, the humanity. But yeah, I actually used to like Hetalia too. Now, from my own guilty pleasure, I'd actually have to say this little anime series, Mirage of Blaze. It's based on a novel, actually not a manga, and was actually shown on the Stars Network on Comcast during the early 2000s. It was actually my first introduction to a genre called shonai, which is a lighter version of yaoi. And for a little 13-year-old weeaboo like myself, that was probably just a big eye-opener. Like, the artwork, looking back, didn't really age well, especially the noses, and some of, the voice acting is pretty cringy, but the novel itself, which is so hard to find in translation, is actually pretty good if you like very dark subject matter. But that's my guilty pleasure. But going off of the last comment with Hetalia, let's base the next question off of this. For those of you who actually liked Hetalia at one point, who was your favorite character from that series and why? Personally, mine was Prussia, basically because I've always have a thing for the albino characters in any series, and I really liked his character with the whole I am awesome thing and whatnot. But yeah, that's the question, and I hope to see the answers. I can't wait to see the answers, just because of how much stories I read on Hetalia here, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye!